haven't recorded a video today. Oops. The main reason being that literally nothing has happened today. I've had a very relaxed day. I wasn't even out of bed until I think it was 20 to 2. So that's not great. So instead of filming a sort of what I did today video, which would literally be seconds long, I thought I would do the Doctor Who tag. As you can see, I am a bit of a Doctor Who fan myself, and I kind of want to answer those questions. So here we go. Who is your favourite Doctor? My favourite Doctor by far is David Tennant. He has always been my Doctor, and that is the main reason. I have watched every single episode that he was in. I mean, the same thing I watched every single episode that Matt Smith was in, I watched every single episode that Christopher Eccleston was in, but they never quite did the same thing for me. They never quite felt like the Doctor, the way that David Tennant feels like the Doctor to me. Like, whenever I picture Doctor Who, I picture David Tennant, even though it's Peter Capaldi now, and he's great. I love Peter Capaldi, and I enjoyed Matt Smith, and I really liked Christopher Eccleston, but I just love David Tennant. So he has always been my Doctor, and he always will be. What is your favourite Doctor Who story? I would say my favourite Doctor Who story is The Unicorn and the Wasp, and not because it was a particularly good, like, horror story. I just think it's nice, and I quite like it where sometimes Doctor Who tries to fill in the gaps in history. I quite like the fact that they've made up this story around Agatha Christie's disappearance. I thought it was really clever, and I've watched that episode so many times and pretty much know it word for word. The one with David Tennant and Billie Piper in for the first time on New Earth is probably a close second, purely because, again, I've seen that episode so many times, pretty much know it word for word, can literally recite the bit where the Doctor becomes Cassandra for a minute. I can recite that whole spiel. So that's a very close second. But then there's the scene with Van Gogh in the museum with Amy and the Doctor, played by Matt Smith. That scene in the museum killed me. When I watched that, I was in floods. That scene, if I could pick my favourite episode based on a scene, just one scene, that would be it. Because the rest of the episode is a bit mediocre, really. It's a villain that none of them can see, apart from Van Gogh. So, in a way, that episode isn't great, but that scene, oh my god, so powerful. So, I don't know, third? Who is your favourite companion? Donna. Always Donna. And it's not that I don't like Rose. When Rose left and we got Martha, I wasn't quite sure about saying goodbye to Rose. I didn't want to say goodbye to Rose. I was like, no one can replace Rose. But then Martha came along and she was good, and I've learnt a lot of good things about her character, and, you know, there have been so many good debates on her character and the writing of her character. And yes, I have very good appreciation of Martha, but Donna will always be my favourite, and I'm not the only one. What was the first Doctor Who story you watched? The first one I ever remember seeing was an episode called Dalek, I think, with Christopher Eccleston and Billie Piper, and it was the first one I ever watched, and I think it was because I seem to remember it was a day when we were being babysat, so it was a long, long time ago, and we were just flicking through the channels on the telly, and our babysitter spotted the Dalek and was like, oh, it's Doctor Who, let's watch it. And so we ended up watching sort of halfway through that, and I quite enjoyed it. So I went on, I think, I don't even know if iPlayer was around at the time, but I remember somehow being able to see it again, maybe it was on repeat on the telly, and yeah, really enjoyed it, and then kept watching the series after that, I think, but I'm not entirely sure. But that was the first one I ever saw. What is your favourite series or era? Am I allowed to say the specials? The specials between sort of Donna leaving and his regeneration, that era of specials, they are probably my favourite episodes since it came back. So I would go for that if I can. If I can't, then I guess I'm gonna go for the Christopher Eccleston series, the first series of the comeback, purely because the episodes in it, the writing was really good. I enjoyed that. And I enjoyed Christopher Eccleston as the Doctor, so I'm going to go with that series. If I'm not allowed the specials, then that is probably my favourite series. What is your favourite pre- or post-regeneration story? Definitely David Tennant's regeneration into Matt Smith. Oh my god, that story killed me. Those 5 words just made me cry. I'm not gonna lie, they made me cry so bad. And I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to say goodbye to David. It was too emotional. What is your favourite TARDIS desktop theme? David Tennant's TARDIS. It's always going to be David Tennant's TARDIS. Whenever I imagine the TARDIS, I imagine that desktop. So it's gotta be that one. No matter how many times it's changed, it's always going to be that one. On second thought, though, Peter Capaldi's TARDIS is quite cool. I quite like the look of Peter Capaldi's TARDIS. No, I think I'm going to stick with my original answer, but he's a close second. What is your favourite villain or monster? I quite liked the Silence in the Library, the Vashta Narada. That monster freaked me out. And it was so clever. Darkness is something that everybody knows and everybody has to deal with in their life, so it sort of does creep you out. I quite liked them as a monster. But then the monster that scared me the most is probably the angels, so I don't really know. Although the angels in Blink, not the angels in episodes after that, because after that they got a bit rubbish, but in Blink the angels were terrifying. So I quite liked the angels then, but then the Vashta Narada I think will always be scary, so probably the Vashta Narada is my favourite. Although I will always have a soft spot in my heart for the Daleks. Obviously, they're a classic. I've just thought, I think my flatmates can probably hear me, so they're probably just being like, oh, she's being such a nerd. Oh god. That is the end of the video. I'm not going to record any more. So, good night. You will see me tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Like if you like this video. Leave a comment telling me what you think. All that jazz. And yeah, you'll see me tomorrow. Bye! What is going on in this hallway?
We're celebrating. Alright, go! Go! Go!
Whose chair is that?
Oh my god! Are you crazy? Right, move.
I'm trying!
Okay, that's enough fun for one night. So long, fuckers. So long.